Hi, so I wanted to talk a little bit about modafinil again. I have been making some interesting breakthroughs on uh, what motivation is to me recently with these um, latest updates. So this update is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be personal discoveries I've made with modafinil rather than just, a progress update of my usage of it. So these are some insights of what modafinil is to me. I don't really see modafinil as a focus drug as much as it's really touted to be. For me personally, it's more of a motivation drug. Now, that said, there may be a lot of people out there that already consider it more of a motivation drug than a focus drug. I don't know. From what I know, it looks like to most people, it's a focus drug like Adderall, Ritalin, stuff like that. But for me, it's very much a motivation drug. Um, so, one of the things that I've struggled with most of my life is willful motivation. I'm very passion driven. I have a lot of obsessions. That's typically where my motivation comes from. It doesn't come from responsibilities, it doesn't come from obligations. Um, on the negative side, it can come very much so from guilt, but not really shame. I don't really get humiliated. I get embarrassed all the time over petty stuff, but I also let it go really quickly. So my motivation is pretty fleeting, as you could imagine. It's very emotionally based. Very rarely is my motivation aligned with what is practical. That being said, it makes it very hard to be what is considered a productive member of society. And I am also a very habitual creature because of that. That being said, if I have the right habits in place, I can be extremely productive. I can be way more productive than somebody who is smarter or more talented than me. And that's something that, got my hopes up early on in life and other people's hopes up, but, it is what it is. And I'd say about 90% of the time I'm a non-starter. But modafinil has kind of changed that it's really changed that for me. It's really given me the ability to feel like I have a choice, which is very very essential for me. When I have a task list of things to do, I look at it like a menu. What do I want to do moment to moment? Not what needs to get done first. Like I can prioritize it to see, of the things I want to do, which one is the most important, but it's still very passion driven, which is infuriating when I'm in a team environment or other people are relying on me for both myself and the people who are relying on me. So having modafinil as a motivation drug, I'm not on it today. Today is a day off day. Like in my last update, I was saying that I was going to be doing 2 days on, 1 day off for a few weeks and give an update after that. It's only been, I'm coming up to the end of the first week of 2 days on, 1 day off strategy. So this is day 6 of that strategy. And what I've noticed is with this motivation drug, I feel like I have more of a choice whether or not it's something that is a current obsession. I can create current obsessions with modafinil. It doesn't matter whether or not I want to do it, if I don't want to do it, if it's something that needs to get done, if it's something that doesn't need to get done, if it's something I like or hate, shoveling shit and, watching my favorite TV show. The motivation is, you know, the easiest I've ever been able to. It's really what it does is it doesn't necessarily motivate me, but it demotivates me in the area of the things that I obsess about or am passionate about to the point where everything's an equal playing field. And that's quite an interesting strategy for a neurochemical standpoint. Like, it demotivates me in the places where I'm most motivated but it doesn't demotivate me anywhere else. So it levels the playing field and makes it feel like more of a cognitive choice. My wife kind of has this ability by nature. She's able to motivate herself to do anything she wants to do, and I give her a hard time that she doesn't do anything she doesn't want to do, which is pretty much the same thing for me, but I also don't feel like I have as much of a choice over what I want to do as her. So having this modafinil be a motivation drug for me is amazing, where it really just levels the playing field. So I feel like I have more of a choice in what I want to do on the day to day. Yeah, so that's quite fascinating because I've been able to start up new habits pretty much at will. Hard habits, easy habits, prevent myself from letting go of good hard habits, which is another, bane to my existence. So it's really, really good for me as a baseline. And I'm building up these habits more and more until they become second nature. And if I can break that threshold of, 50% good habits that are just automatic, I really think that I'll have a huge breakthrough and accomplish what I hoped and the people who cared for me growing up hoped for, that I would figure out how to be super, super productive. I see modafinil as kind of being that thing that I would need to get back into the saddle with good but hard habits. Like if I ever fall off the saddle, when I eventually fall off the saddle with things like exercise or, eating healthy, I could use this to take the edge off to get back into that habit for a few weeks. And for other things, like if I want to start up a plethora of new habits, and they're not necessarily hard, but there's a lot of them, I can go through it effectively and efficiently and not feel like I run the high risk of forgetting all these new things on my plate, and also taking out my resistance to doing a whole bunch of new things all at once in a productive manner. So I see modafinil right now as a huge crutch, but the long-term goal is to learn how to walk with them until I can learn how to walk without it, and then, keep that up. And I think that's very useful because I have the plan to be self-sufficient with it. So it does help to take that edge off. It does help to reduce that learning curve for someone like me who is very habitual. So for me, it's learning habits, learning to make things habit. Because I can kind of learn anything. I'm not a very quick study, but I'm kind of obsessed with learning. So if I can use this to help me aim my obsession at something that I don't want to be obsessed about or I'm not currently obsessed about, topic-wise, that could essentially emulate, being a quick learner, because my capacity for learning is very, very high. I can very easily sit around for 8, 10, 16 hours a day and learn and retain what I learn. So high concentration and giving me the ability to mass produce that high concentration, not being, led by my whims or my passions or just my moods. That's freedom right there. So I just wanted to share this. If you know anybody that this could help, please feel free to share it, copy it, whatever you need to do to get it to them. Tell them to follow my page or my channel. Like if you know anyone that this could help, I get this prescription from my doctor. There are many other methods to get modafinil. So happy learning.